CNBC TV18, embarking on a quarter century of excellence.
Hello and welcome to the CNBC TV18 Mumbai studio. I'm Ekta Batra and you're watching Your Stocks this afternoon. Well, it's turning out to be a session where we are seeing some amount of pressure on the mid-caps. Remember, all of the indices have been at record highs. So the mid-cap index is currently down around 344 odd points, some amount of profit booking which is taking place. We have the bank nifty, which is holding up with a gain of around 0.3%, and the nifty, which has given up its gains after hitting 21,000 on an intraday basis, is now just about flattened out. Remember, it was the credit policy today, and it is the fifth consecutive RBI policy where the RBI has held a status quo in terms of rates. And for the entire FY24, the RBI has not moved in terms of rates, but they did hike their GDP forecast for the year to 7%, and they have kept their inflation target quite stable. So that's the update which is coming from the credit policy. The advance decline ratio, meanwhile, for our markets is on the negative side. We have around 1,580 or 1,590 odd stocks advancing to over 2,300 stocks which are declining on the Bombay Stock Exchange. So we have a lot of queries considering that there is profit booking which is taking place at the top. We have with us Astha Jain joining in to discuss some of the fundamental questions that we have, and Kush Bohra joining in on the technicals this afternoon. Astha as well as Kush, welcome to the show. Well, before we start talking about specific queries, Kush, just wanted your quick view in terms of the markets, considering that we are now seeing profit booking after hitting these record highs. What does that mean, and how would you strategize going into next week?
So, hi, Ekta. First up, thank you for having me on the show. Well, this is one of those days where the market feels like it's corrected a lot, but if you actually look at the screen, it's only down 13 points, right? I think this was due. Perhaps a day or two earlier also would not have surprised anyone. I still feel that there is some downside left to the markets. 21,000, 21,100 is a very stiff near-term resistance. Perhaps market could take some time before we, come back to that level or perhaps cross it. I will actually look for buying opportunities at dips, and the levels that I'm looking at are 20,600 and 20,400. Near to these levels, I would, for sure be a buyer. But for now, profit booking or trailing stop losses is the best advice I can give to the viewers.
Okay, all right. So that's the view coming in on the technicals. Well, we do have the November mutual fund data, which is coming out. So we will just get to that in just a bit. But it seems as though the strong trend has continued in terms of the net equity inflow that we've seen for this month. But overall, Astha, we are expecting that kind of momentum to continue into the entire mutual fund, market, and considering the kind of share that we've seen in terms of participation take place. What is your view on the total data as well as the momentum that we've seen for our markets this year?
First of all, good afternoon to everyone out there. Yes, actually, markets are looking very strong, very buoyant, and what we are seeing is just starting of that, because what we are just taking from our retail set of clients, so they are very much interested in investing in the markets, either through any route, through PMS route or through mutual fund. And in fact, the way we have seen the IPOs have came down and the listings they have seen. So I just tell you my experience, even now, everyone on the road also, they want to invest in equities or the stock market. So I think this trend has just started, and people have started believing in their own story, whether it's a FII participation or not. Even our domestic mutual funds are so strong that we don't need foreign funds. This is we are just listening from our retail clients, and this is what is making their minds to invest in the stock market. So we are looking at the markets in a very positive mood, and I think going ahead also markets will remain in the strong position. But we have to take care of one thing. Next year, it will be the elections season in India, in US, in Mexico, in Taiwan. So all the major countries will be having the elections. So we have to just take care of that. Otherwise, markets are looking very strong, and the domestic funds are still pouring into the markets. And I think markets will remain positive in the near term also.
Let's get in a quick query. Then we have Rakesh Bhatnagar, who writes to us from Delhi, who holds 1,000 shares of Borosil. which is bought at 178. He's a long-term investor and wants to know what to do, whether to remain invested or to book his profits. He's sitting on a good amount of profits. Astha, you go first on this one.
So I recommend hold on this counter with a price target of 380 to 400. Basically, we have seen the fall, but it is just due to the demerger that happened. And now for every 4 shares of Borosil, all the shareholder will get the 3 shares of Borosil Scientific Limited because this demerger has happened. So I think he's really in a strong profit. But going ahead also, the way this company is performing on the basis of their financials, and in fact, they have shown some sort of increase in their operating profit margins also in the quarter gone by. So I'm very much optimistic on this counter, recommending hold with the possible price target of 380 to 400.
Okay, Kush, your view?
Fairly similar. I mean, if you discount the demerger price action, before that the stock had actually started moving up quite significantly, and it had crossed all the key thresholds. So I think it's a fair target that Astha's mentioned, rather 400 plus, especially from an investment perspective. Hold on to Borosil.
Okay, all right, Kush, as well as Astha, thanks very much for joining in and taking us through all of those queries. That's all the time that we have in the show, but do remember to email us your questions. We'll address them with our experts. Stay tuned. Closing bell to take you through the last hour of trade.